Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Relix, and today we are going to review the first episode of the final season, Season 8 of My Hero Academia. And wow, I was excited to see it. Unfortunately, I was not able to see it right away. I was away on business doing something else, so the episode, to me, unfortunately came a little late, but nevertheless, I am still going to review it just like I did for last season. I do apologize, by the way, for last season. I actually didn't make a season review of the season. I did rate every single episode though, so if you haven't checked those out, link in the description to the playlist for every episode review from last season, season 7. It was a really good season, I will say that, and I really enjoyed it. So, without a doubt, I'm just going to straight up tell you guys what I thought about it right here, right now, real quick. Overall, I would give this season 7, that is, probably a good 6 or 7. A 6 on my scale is above average. 5 would be average, right? So that's like kind of giving it like a B minus, right? If you were to give it like a letter grade. So I like a B minus. If I'm saying like 7, then it's a good season. It's had ups and downs for sure. There are a lot of really good action scenes for sure. I actually enjoyed a lot of the moments from season 7, but there were some things where it just felt redundant, or oh, that's just plot convenience, and then of course the bad guys just keep coming back bigger, stronger, and just at the end of the day, they are the big baddies and they win, right? But overall, it was a really, really enjoyable season. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out before you start watching season 8, obviously. And again, if you guys have been with me from my other reviews, you guys will know that this is a spoilers review. So if you have not seen the first episode of season 8, please go check it out. It is out now. And again, we will do the exact same things we did last time, except for a little bit different. Obviously, last time I used a bunch of screenshots. Here, I'm also going to use some video footage if I can. So, be prepared for that. But again, as always, you guys go right here, as you guys can see, or maybe not see. The invisible girl, Toru Hagakure, is the hero of the episode. We will continue to do the hero of the episode every single episode along the way. I think, without a doubt, I don't think anyone can argue, really. Maybe a little bit, but I don't think anyone can really argue that she was the hero of the episode, albeit just a little bit of screen time, which is kind of weird, right? How can you have little screen time but still be the hero of the episode? Well, half the episode, unfortunately, was recap stuff. It was recapping specifically All Might's fight against All For One, so I'm not surprised. That's kind of the typical episode 1 from all the My Hero seasons. They do a small recap, if not show off some of the heroes, the kids, all that stuff. So it was no surprise that they started off with All Might and how his fight progresses, and how Toru specifically can play into his arsenal of weapons. As we know, All Might was actually using a bunch of his students' specific works, but as equipment, right? And so it was cool to see it start off last season in season 7, and then of course that's where we left off with him going in a final all for nothing, all for nothing, all out, one final attempt to try and beat All For One. And we never got to see the resolution. Obviously, it's cliffhangers here, left and right. Going into the season 8, so we got to see the resolution, kind of the resolution of this fight. Obviously, it's going to keep going, but we did get to make progress and see what is happening, right? And then, of course, we actually get a cliffhanger at this episode about what happens in that fight. So again, once again, this is a spoilers review, so we're going to get started. I have the episode here as well, so I'm going to also watch it along as I do this review. So I will obviously add any screenshots or any little clips if needed. But it does start off with Deku explaining. Honestly, the beginning, I was like, oh wow, we're starting off with some cherry blossom trees. It looks like peace has returned to the world, because actually, as the scene develops and Deku's explained to us what happened during this all-out war, um, he's saying that we are actually, what happened, what did the heroes do, how did they try and, solve the war, and then we see this hand pop up. It's all kind of wrinkly and, kind of disheveled, and I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. So obviously one hand doesn't look so good. The other hand catches a cherry blossom, and we can clearly see that's Deku's hand. I have a feeling. By the way, I have no idea what happens in the story. I do not read the manga, so I do not have any idea what's happening in the future. Just that whatever happens in the anime. I don't even watch the movies. And as to this point, I have not watched all of Vigilantes. So if something from Vigilantes pops up into this season, I actually will not be able to reference it at all because I have no idea. But yeah, so just a side note there. Yeah, I have no idea what's to come. What is this Deku in the future, perhaps? But I have an idea that perhaps, I don't know how, but as we know, Deku is full on with trying to rescue Shigaraki, right? And not kill him. So I have a weird, odd feeling Shigaraki is somehow going to merge with Deku, and Deku's going to be the one who actually ends up killing All For One and saving the world with Shigaraki's help. I don't know how, but that's just my theory, just based on this intro alone. What was it, like 15-20 second intro? Not even that long. But that's my mind thinking about it. We'll see. We will see, right? In any case, so it proceeds to do the full recap. We get to see All Might. We got to see Twice, the army expanding. Obviously, we know what happened to Twice and Toga. We got to see the Twices attack the coffin in the sky. There's a lot of things that was just straight up recap. And then, of course, they showed Shoto and Ingenium going to the scenes as well, and basically All Might reiterating that he has faith in his students and they will help solve all the problems that are going on around the entire country. So it was good recap. I would say it's a very solid recap. Was it necessary? Probably not. I mean, it just kind of wastes time, right? It's good, like, what, 15 minutes or so? I don't even know how long it was. Oh no, 15 minutes of the episode, duh. So about, like, what, 10 minutes probably of the episode, and is all recap. Very unfortunate, but in the end, it's kind of needed, but also a little redundant because we saw the last season. We know what's happening. In any case, so obviously All For One engages All Might. He activates Hercules, which is his assist equipment, and he goes and fights All For One. And we see that there are ups and downs for both sides, and then eventually All Might actually gets destroyed, in a matter of speaking. He gets crushed pretty badly, and unfortunately his equipment can't keep up. All For One is just a little too powerful, and that's, of course, that's natural. I mean, he has we don't actually know, but he probably has hundreds, if not maybe 1,000 quirks, so he can do whatever he wants, and he's just kind of toying with All Might because he knows he is unstoppable at this point. However, All Might is on the offensive because he believes that the more damage he does to All For One, the younger he becomes, therefore wasting All For One's time and not allowing him to get to Shigaraki to become one, and basically, he wins. He will take over the world. Yeah, overall, the fighting to start that continues from season 7 onto now, I actually enjoyed how his powers, or the students' powers were integrated into his equipment. I thought it was a little ridiculous last season when I think I mentioned it. I thought it was a little ridiculous how he kept naming all of his equipment after all his students. But thinking about it now, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. They actually did work out. Obviously not everyone's quirks are going to be included, I don't believe. Because I don't think every quirk was included. So you're not going to have them all. But it is kind of cool to see all of his students are starting to get some highlights of some kind that inspired him to make this equipment. this armor, and it turns out to be actually really strong. So he continues to fight. He unveils even more equipment pieces, like tentacles. Froppy's ability to bounce off of the walls and stick to them. All those things. Very, very cool. But in the end, it's like kind of redundant. It's like, yeah, you don't really need it. You just need to just get to All For One and engage him in close combat. Make sure you do as much damage. I did like, and there you go. Of course, I'm not going to be able to do specifics. Of course, throughout the entire, I'm not going to explain the whole episode to you. But out of all the equipments he used in this episode, I did like how he tied in the later heroes in the episode, specifically Can't Stop, Twinkling, and how his power not only has a fixture in the second half of the episode, but also how it actually plays a part in the fight against All For One. I thought that was really creative. Transition wise, not the strongest, but it was still very good. Good tie-in together. But yeah, as the fight progresses, All Might isn't exactly winning, and All For One continues to destroy his armor, but he does catch All For One, in close combat, freezes him with Shoto's ice powers, and then high above he uses Hercules to unleash one final strike with light. And then it kind of abruptly transitioned away from that light. But as we know what that means, because it immediately went to Aoyama in the original battlefield, where all the heroes had pushed away all of the villains to different locations. We finally get to see what is happening with the purple flower dude named Kunieda. And honestly, still kind of disappointed. I won't lie, I was a little disappointed. We don't actually get to see what happened. We remember from the last season, he is some kind of flower quirk user. He makes flowers, and the heroes were having a tough time trying to break these flowers down, I guess. We didn't really get to see much, really at all, right? We just know that Fat Gum's here, Aoyama's here, and some other generic heroes are here. But in this episode, we actually return to that battlefield. It is now raining, just like it is everywhere else, and there's flowers everywhere. Literally a field of purple flowers filling every inch of the surrounding civilization. And we get to see that Fat Gum as well as Aoyama, specifically those two, are there. Some of the other heroes look kind of dead, to be honest. I mean, they literally have flowers going out of their backs or out of their chests. Like, that does not look pretty healthy. I mean, we even see what the flower does to Fat Gum that's growing out of his back. Specifically, it's growing. It's growing out of their bodies. At least I think that's what's happening, because it definitely appears that way. But everyone, including Aoyama, by the way, remember, Class 1A, they're kids. They're 15, 16-year-olds, right? They are kids. And so they're doing huge hero work here. They're taking damage. They're taking hits. They're bleeding out for their comrades, their heroes in arms. And, that's crazy to think about, right? And so just being on the battlefield is pretty cool for them to be that brave. And it goes back to Season 7 as well as any of the other heroes we didn't see. But, yeah, I guess I tracked with that. Yeah, it was kind of cool to see the flower actually progress and what it actually does. It took all Fat Gum's absorption and energy, and it just bloomed into a monster flower. And I guess these monster flowers, I don't know what they're gonna do. I guess they eat people, maybe? I don't know. We don't actually get to see what the flowers do. They just have these monster heads that literally just, they just walked around and just kind of, like, ooh, big scary flowers, okay. So, again, kind of a cool villain, but you didn't explain or show what he actually does. The flowers themselves, sure, they're draining the energy of the heroes, but A, I want to know how did it happen? And then B, what do they actually do? We don't actually get to see any of that, and that's a little unfortunate. Overall, though, it was still a cool sight. I thought the visuals in this episode were really good, and this was no exceptions. I thought the flowers looked really nice. I thought the situation that the heroes found themselves in and how dire it looked, right? I mean, they all looked pretty much dead. I mean, I can't remember if it was the narrator specifically or someone else that said all of the heroes in this location have been, what was it? Not contained, but like incapacitated, you can say, except for one. Now, obviously, unfortunately, the internet is just full of spoilers. So obviously, I know at this point in the episode, this is closing in on the end. Yeah, I know who the one hero is that wasn't contained, incapacitated. It's obviously Toru, again, hero of the episode. So I already knew that because I've seen so many pictures of her. But obviously, how is she going to play a part in this moment? We were going to find out. Aoyama is captured. He's speaking one-to-one with the villain here, Kunieda, and yeah, basically showing that he's a traitor. You know, you picked the wrong side. This is what you get. Now you're going to die. And Aoyama is starting to, you know, toughen up. He's trying to get a little braver, and he's saying that this isn't the way it's going to end. He's going to do one final attack. We clearly see from his stomach, which is where his quirk is, right? Because it's a naval laser. And we clearly see he's been charging up something. It's flashing the entire time we get to see him from the moment the scene transitions to him and the area. He's glowing. He's storing up energy somehow, or whatever he's doing. And he's going to unleash one final attack, right? One final blast of light energy. And I was like, okay, clearly he's going to do something with Toru. Whatever it is, we will find out. So what happens is, after egging on his anger and everything and trying to inspire him to be a big hero, Kunieda actually is like, okay, time to attack. And before he could do that, Aoyama unleashes his naval laser, shooting out everywhere. We're talking not like in a straight line, because without his belt, which was actually in the hands of the villain, without his belt he can't shoot straight. So his lasers are very erratic and they just go anywhere. They could even hit the other heroes that are damaged or even incapacitated. Who knows, maybe you could even kill them. But I don't think that's the case, because most of those heroes were kind of like down low. Aoyama was clearly in the air, talking one-to-one with the villain in the air. Clearly, there's no one in the vicinity, so he's able to just unleash that energy and pretty much have no fear of attacking any of his fellow heroes. And then once he does that, it starts to just kind of, you know, hit some flowers here and there, burning them, you know, scraping them, cutting them, and seems very effective, but it's not very, you know, concentrated, so it's never going to either A, hit the villain and kill him, nor is it actually going to kill all the flowers. Hence the reason why the villain seems so cocky, because he's like, you're wasting your time. But then all of a sudden, from straight up from behind, someone you cannot see because she is totally invisible. Even here, you can't even see any of these things. Her gloves, her boots, because she is fully invisible. She has nothing on, and Toru shows up out of nowhere from behind, and she says she's been waiting for the chance from the hero, Aoyama, and she uses warp refraction, naval laser, as she puts it, a tag team blast that literally reflects all of the laser energy right back at the villain's back from behind. And he obviously didn't see it coming, because how can you? Literally, you didn't know this invisible girl was there. And obviously Aoyama was also caught kind of in the blast. He actually didn't take much damage, if any at all, from the scenes later. But it does show him actually being hit. So I was kind of like, little plot convenience. Just a little bit. But, you know, she refocused the laser attack, all of the light energy right back at Kunieda, and he ended up pretty much losing. He got fried. He literally got you can literally say like solar beamed from Pokemon. He literally got solar beamed to oblivion, and that tied into back to All Might, where Hercules used the exact same attack, a laser attack, just like Stars and Stripe did against Shigaraki in what, episode 2 or 3 was it from last season, and pinned Shigaraki down in the ocean floor. Is the exact same thing. Hercules used the laser and pinned down All For One in the middle of the city, giving All Might the time to do other things. He even showed off earphone jack's capability to try and pin down All For One in the laser, and then he even used Grape Juice's sticky balls equipment to stick his hands into the ground so he can't move. All the quirks coming out. It was pretty cool. Little plot convenience again, just because the laser itself is just not being affected by anything. And then, of course, saying, oh, his armor is actually integrated with Toru's, cloaking and light refracting capabilities. I'm like, okay, it's going a little over the top now at this point, but doesn't take away from the cool scene. And All Might actually ends up doing a really good job damaging and pretty much destroying All For One's body, that he has to keep regenerating it and making himself younger. However, in the end, it didn't matter. Hercules ends up blowing up from overload, and All For One actually escapes the laser. So it's no surprise, right? I mean, there's no way equipment alone was going to beat All For One. That's just a given, right? But all the while, a little side note for the episode. I don't know why. I don't know what significance it has. But all the while this is happening, there is a camera that's recording and showing footage around the world, what All Might is doing. And then comes this family. There's a boy and I guess a grandma watching on TV. They just like, who's this guy in the black suit? I don't know. And then the grandma's like, well, it's in a different country. It doesn't mean anything to us. But the kid's like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to keep watching. And then we even see him kind of, close his fist. He's worried. He's like kind of rooting for All Might. He doesn't know who he is, but he's worried. He's trying to cheer him on, probably, hoping he wins. And I don't know what significance that plays right now, because we've seen it before, right? We've seen other kids kind of cheer on their heroes. Of course, those kids are also in Japan, so what significance does this play? I don't know. We'll find out later, probably. But obviously, like, the rest of the world, we know is in limbo right now, because they fear All For One, and they don't want to send help. But maybe, just maybe, because it's being broadcasted, just maybe the symbol symbol of the world, All Might, going against All For One without any quirks, might just inspire other countries around the world to take action and send help. And I don't want to say it's going to be like a final, everybody shows up at the last minute and provides their powers to like Deku or something, or All Might in the end. Because I really don't want to see, just like in Star Wars, the Galaxy Fleet just show up out of nowhere, even though no one said they were going to send help, and then just beat the bad guys just like that. I don't want that to happen in the end. That would be the most ridiculous ending ever. So I really hope that's not the case. But I do hope that we get to see some other heroes from other countries decide to go against their rules and regulations from their own countries and go and help. And we saw that from a couple heroes already, but we'll see if that actually works out the way we think it will, or at least I think it will, and hopefully they do show up and provide assistance. So that'd be kind of cool. But we do get to finish the episode here for All Might with All For One coming out of the ground. He's much younger, much younger, but he's now glowing. I don't think it actually explained why he's glowing or what it is, but he's just all yellow, right? He's just all orange yellowish, glowing like he got infused with like lava or something. And he's coming at All Might, for one last attack, and all of a sudden, here comes Stain. And I forget exactly what Stain's capabilities are, but he did lick, I guess, All For One's blood, and it prevents him from moving around. At least I think that's what happened. And so I was kind of confused. I was like, wait, what's Stain going to do? Obviously, he's going to tag team with All Might in the next episode, but what will he be able to do in this moment? I mean, All For One looks like he's literally going to blow up. Like, he's going to go nuclear and just blow up into a bomb. So I'm curious to know what will happen there. But yeah, that's how the fight ends here for the episode. Credits play. I think the credits were actually the opening for the season, so we will get to see later in the next episode what the ending is for the season. Overall, I love the credit scene. Actually, it looks pretty cool. The animation's clean, and then we get to see a bunch of the heroes that we're going to see, specifically Class 1A. I love seeing Class 1A together. It's very inspirational that they do work together, and it's amazing how this anime has grown from season 1 to now. You literally get to learn and grow with these students, right? Class 1A specifically. And you get to learn who they are, what their quirks are, and to be honest, me personally, I think they're very memorable. I think that's pretty cool, that they're very memorable. Some characters, you just kind of just forget about them in other animes. But these ones, yes, some are weaker than others, but if you don't remember their names, you don't remember their quirks, you at least remember what they look like. And I think that's pretty unique that in a day and age where a lot of anime are coming out with pretty generic characters, we're talking very generic, they all look the same, to have all these different characters with different quirks and abilities, personalities, I think that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool you can distinguish between the characters and no one's the same. And I think that's really awesome. So, pretty cool ending, or in this case, opening. But that's how it ends there. And then we have an end credit, or after credit, I should say, scene, where we get to see the resolution of what happened with Kunieta. And he got fried. Completely fried. He is wasted. And then, of course, we get to see Toru hop right on top of his back and say, "Villain in custody." She has taken down the villain in this area. Now, it kind of seems a little odd to me. Just a little bit, because if all the other heroes were incapacitated, and Kunieta was the one who did all that, you're telling me there's no other villains at this moment right now, that could literally take on Aoyama and Toru. Seems a little fishy. Plot convenience wise, right? One guy took this whole area out. I don't think so. So in the next time we see them, we're probably going to engage more villains, and I'm going to be like, well, why didn't those villains help Kunieta? Why did they just let this happen, right? Why did they let two kids just get the upper hand on him? Little plot convenience, probably. I don't know. Just my 2 cents coming in. But let it not take away from the beautiful, and I'm talking like absolute perfection of animation style here. No, I am not a perv. I am not staring at Toru's naked body. But you cannot deny, if you guys go look at the manga drawn designs of Toru and compare them to how they animated them here in the episode, she looks absolutely gorgeous. She looks absolutely gorgeous. The way she kind of looks at her hands is like, oh my god, I'm visible. You know, her facial expressions and then her reaction to Aoyama seeing her visible, body is absolutely amazing. This is hands down, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful animations I've seen from the past couple seasons. Like, it is just so genuinely awesome. It was just a few seconds, right? Just like 10 seconds worth, and yet it's so beautiful. I just loved it so much. It looks absolutely amazing. But yeah, we get to see Toru even more than we did last season. Last season, she did reflect Aoyama's light. It showed her face a little bit off, right? She was wearing her gloves and shoes. Boots, I can say. But we didn't get to really see all of her, right? This time, we get to see all of her. She is absolutely naked. And, we clearly see what she looks like, body and all. And she is freaked out that Aoyama can see her. But she also is wondering, wait a minute, his light is doing this to me. That's interesting. And she's like, wait, his quirk made my body visible in the first place. That means his quirk is getting stronger to the point where all this light energy is coming out even more powerful than it did before. And she even compliments him that his quirk is improving. And I was like, well, never mind that. All good. We need to burn the flowers. He specifically says we need to hurry up and burn the flowers to save everyone. And we saw what it did to Fat Gum. And even if Kunieta is actually down and out, the flowers themselves are still existing. They have their own kind of their own existence, right? And so in order to stop the infections from killing all the heroes, they probably have to go and burn every single one. Can they do it in time, though? That's the biggest question now, because Aoyama's just literally unleashed his final attack. His stomach is killing him. For all we know, honestly, I would not have been surprised if they added a little gimmick and had him throw up rainbows, because that's exactly what his quirk does, right? The more laser energy he unleashed without his belt, he would vomit and be sick. And we didn't actually get to see that here. So I'm assuming in the next episode, he himself will not be able to do anything, and therefore leaving Toru to helplessly, technically, try and figure out how to save the other heroes. She literally cannot do it on her own. She doesn't have the capability to make that light energy spread without Aoyama's help. And so I am wondering what this means for the other heroes, but at the same time, to end the episode, Aoyama does say that today is his last day as a UA student. And I'm like, what the heck does that mean? And he says, nothing's going to stop me. And I'm like, oh my god. He's going to kill himself. He is literally going to probably sacrifice himself, unleash as much naval laser energy as he possibly can, and reflect it off of Toru. And ironically, seeing her reflect all this light is going to be the last beautiful thing he ever sees before he passes away and saves everybody. And he will no longer be considered a traitor to the heroes. He won't be considered a villain. He won't be considered a bad guy. He will have redeemed himself and saved a bunch of people. And specifically including Toru, in which, in this point, we're kind of seeing that they're probably shipped together, right? But overall, is that what's going to happen? I don't think so. Obviously, Aoyama's going to live. No one dies, right? No one dies. This isn't war. No one dies. I really hope, in a sad way, I really do hope Aoyama does go out in that kind of fashion. I really, really do. If he dies here and saves all these heroes in the way I just explained, I would be the most happiest guy on earth to see that happen, because that is an honorable hero's death, and to redeem himself like that is just absolutely amazing. We'll see. We will see if that happens or if something else plot convenient wise happens. I really don't want anything plot convenient to happen just like that. As we know, we didn't see any other heroes. The narrator, I'm pretty sure the narrator said that all heroes in this area were incapacitated except for one, and that was Toru. So now Aoyama and Toru are the only two that are free. There is no reason for another hero to show up out of nowhere. So I'm hoping that we get a huge redemption arc from Aoyama. That would be amazing. But we'll see. We will see what happens. Who knows? Watch. Maybe Kunieta will just literally rise up again, and just like everyone, all the other bad guys, all the major bad guys, they're going to just stand up. Oh, I'm stronger than ever, and eat my flowers. Giant monster flower, and it's like, uh-oh. And then watch, here comes some other heroes from somewhere else. Come in, save the day, right? I don't want to see that again. We will literally be repeating the process from season 7, which I hated so much, where all these other people just suddenly show up, plot convenience wise, and just save the day. I don't want to see that. I want Class 1A to have the spotlight where they actually are able to have the spotlight. And Aoyama and Toru getting the spotlight in this episode was fantastic. Obviously, again, as I mentioned before, Toru is the hero of the episode, specifically because she's the one who took down the villain, as well as saved Aoyama. So she gets my vote for the hero of the episode. But let me know what you guys think. Did she did she deserve hero of the episode for this first episode of season 8? Let me know. Maybe it was All Might, because he was taking an all for one. Maybe. He did a really good job, right? But half of it was recap, so it was a very short scene. Or was it Aoyama? Because he unleashed the laser that allowed Toru to, destroy and take down Kunieta and his flowers. Let me know. Obviously, I think those are the only 3 choices in this episode, but overall, it was a really nice episode. I really enjoyed it. As far as an overall rating for the episode, because again, we will do these overall ratings. Here are the episode, overall ratings. Every episode. To round it out, yes, I thought the visuals were great. I thought the voice acting was pretty good. Man, All Might's crazy evil laugh is like, oh my goodness, absolutely insane. But yeah, absolute beautiful animations here. Just once again, I love this anime so much, honestly. Second favorite anime after Naruto for sure. Maybe even takes the top once it's done. Who knows? Who knows how it finishes, right? By the way, we don't talk about Boruto. That sucks. But yeah, overall, I love this episode. I loved everything about it so far. Again, the only ridiculous thing I felt like was all of the equipment that Hercules is providing All Might. If it doesn't play a part in the later episodes, I can forgive it. So for now, I will give this episode a solid 8 out of 10. It is a great episode. Absolutely fantastic. I cannot say there's anything too outrageous. Obviously, All for One's powers is a little outrageous, but just everything, how it played out, how we got a recap. It did a good job recapping all the events that happened before, leading up to this moment. So that was really solid. But again, it does lose points because we don't need the recap necessarily, as literally half the episode was All Might's fight. I mean, that was kind of ridiculous. That's literally 10 minutes worth of recapping that we didn't need to see because we saw it all. It's like the exact same. It's like they literally pulled it from the episodes and put it into this episode. Like, that's very cheap production right there. So it does lose points for that. But overall, everything else, fantastic. Absolutely amazing. And I can't really deduct any points because of that. I thought everything was really nice. And then, of course, it's not like it was a cliffhanger. Aoyama and Toru took down the bad guy. They said what they need to do next. Perfect. Heck, they don't even need to go back to it, right? They did their job. Yeah, I'm sure we need to find out how they burn all the flowers, but we kind of get the idea. If they didn't show them again, the area is resolved, and I could be happy with it, honestly. But obviously, we will see more happening. Who knows? You know what I think? I think Burnin is going to actually show up and probably burn all the flowers for them. Maybe. Because it seems like in the time frame that we're seeing this happen now, because we know time was a huge factor in the last season, Burnin's probably going to just show up out of nowhere and use her flames to burn the flowers, along with her team as well, even though they should all be dead or dying, literally. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I really hope that does not happen, but like I said, if nothing actually gets shown about this area, I'll be happy with it. Yay! Aoyama and Toru end up together. Cool. Awesome. Everyone's happy. But yeah, can't wait for the second episode. Again, I'm rambling at this point, but I have a lot to say just because I'm so happy. I'm so excited that My Hero's back. I love this anime so much, and seeing this episode as a start, obviously, like I said, half of it was recap, but the half that we did get to see, it was just all straight up action. Absolutely amazing. I love it so much compared to last season where we got so much story and background and all that this and this. It doesn't even matter, to be honest. Honestly, the way they came out in this episode, fantastic way to start the season. It's basically a straight up continuation if you take the recap section out. I loved it. So next time, I didn't watch the preview, so I don't actually know what's going to be shown in the next episode because I don't like to watch previews. I'm hoping we either continue the fights here or we show what's going to go on with Deku. I mean, the main character of the entire show, and he kind of got no screen time, right? He got the beginning, what, minute? That's it. And then they recap what he's doing with Shigaraki for what, 10 seconds? So that's not a lot of screen time for a 20-something minute episode. So next episode, they have to show what's happening there at the Coffin in the Sky, and specifically what's going on with Deku and Shigaraki. Either that, or I want to see what happens with the fights that happened here. So we'll see. That's going to be it for now. Like I said, 8 out of 10. Toru's the hero. And I can't wait for the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this review, hit the like button, comment down what you guys thought, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like I said, I will put out these reviews after every episode as soon as I can. This past weekend I was away, so I could not do that until now, and so a few days later. But for the most part, I will try to get these episodes out either the next day or the day after, if possible. I am just a one-man show. I am just doing this for my own channel, but eventually, if I grow big, hopefully we can get this going even more. I digress. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the second episode of My Hero. Bye-bye.